If I can click on this, that'd be nice. Okay. If I can click on this, that'd be nice. Okay. Greetings, human life forms. I'm the Meister, and welcome back. It is that time of year for prediction videos yet again. Finally, it's been a couple months, but we're back. Every single team, every 32 teams, predictions for the season. You guys already know which team I'm predicting today by the title of the video, obviously. But I'm gonna do it randomized this year, so there's no little order or anything. It's gonna be completely randomized. We're using this wheel thing, so I don't even know what team I'm predicting yet. But we will find out in a moment. Just one little spin, find out who it's going to be. And it is going to be the New York Giants. Interesting. All right. We'll eliminate them for next time. All right, the New York Giants. Let's find the Giants here. All right, we're going to get right in the thick of it here. Sorry if my green screen is a little messed up. I'm not an expert at green screens yet, so I still got to perfect that. But starting off the season for the Giants, we'll first go off how their offseason went, how the season ended for them, because I didn't really talk about that at all in any of my videos. But Giants surprised a lot of people last year. Not a lot of people saw them going really anywhere last year, and made it all the way to the divisional round of the playoffs with Daniel Jones, who's now their franchise quarterback because he got that massive extension. And then they still got Saquon Barkley running back. He was fantastic. He finally got back into form last year. Isaiah Hodgins, who we picked up from Buffalo, which we all knew he could be really good. He is proving to be really good with the Giants and was really great near the end of last year. So he's going to be I think he's going to be a big piece for them moving forward. And then the Giants still got Leonard Williams, who I believe they got to agreed to him with a contract extension over there, so that's nice. But really, I don't think there's really any big notable free agent signings that I can think of at the moment that the Giants got. But if there is any, which I don't think there is any, it will come to me, and I will obviously be like, oh yeah, that guy joined the team. But so they are in a tough division this year with obviously Dallas and the Eagles and the Commanders. They kind of aren't that good, so I think they might be okay with the Commanders, but the Commanders did give them some trouble last year, so we'll see how that goes. But we're going to start off with week 1 here, hosting the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. Dallas, another team that lost in the divisional round last year to the 49ers in a very similar fashion, but also very different fashion than they did the year even before that to the 49ers. I feel the Cowboys fans' pain because of losing to the Chiefs 2 straight years in the playoffs. But Dallas, I really like their roster a lot. Their offense was great last year, even though they didn't really play that well in the playoffs. They got Dak Prescott, a quarterback still. I think people know by now that his ceiling is kind of peaked. Like, we know where his ceiling is at. Like, he can have 1 or 2 like amazing games, but he's going to be a solid quarterback, but I don't think he's ever going to be in that elite tier of quarterbacks, especially at this point in his career. His receiving core should be great. It was already pretty good last year. They still got Michael Gallup. They still got CeeDee Lamb, and now they're adding Brandon Cooks in the mix. He's kind of on the older side, but he's still really good. He had 1,000 yards, I believe, last season with the Texans. So, yeah, that is going to be a dangerous receiving core. And Tony Pollard is now running back number 1 for Dallas, which I'm sure a lot of Cowboys fans are happy about. So, running game, I shouldn't really expect a huge drop off after losing Ezekiel Elliott, which they can still get back because he's still a free agent. So if they wanted to go back and get him, they could. And then the defense for Dallas, I actually love. They were a top 5 defense last year, and they got even better, I think, by getting Stephon Gilmore. Because pairing Stephon Gilmore up with Trevon Diggs, and you also have Micah Parsons, a beast, on the defensive line there also. That is just a ferocious team in Dallas. But it is week 1, Sunday Night Football, I believe. There's no dates, but I'm pretty sure this is Sunday Night Football. this is a tough game to predict. I think the Cowboys swept the Giants last year. I'm sure they want to turn that around. But it is week 1. Dallas has a lot of superstars over there. But week 1 is always a funky start of the season. There's always upsets and stuff going on. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys here week 1. I just think it's a really tough opponent for the Giants to draw first week of the season there. So I'm going to give them the loss there week 1. For the rest of these times, I have no idea if any of these other games are prime time or not. Unless obviously they say Monday or Thursday or something. So I'm not really going to know if any of the other games are prime time or not. But moving on, we got the Giants at the Cardinals. Cardinals, a lot of people aren't really looking at as too good this year. Obviously, Kyler Murray tore his ACL near the end of last year, so he's probably not going to be ready for this Week 2 game. And there's been speculation on if DeAndre Hopkins is going to be released, which is kind of looking at like a 50-50 kind of shot right now. It looks like it could happen, but also looks like he could stay a Cardinal. And the defense is very young. It is a young defense. They got some pieces, but nothing really impresses too much because it looks like they took a little bit of a step back last year too. And they lost J.J. Watt. I think the Giants get their first win of the season on the road in Arizona here to get that first win, as they are now 1-1. And they get another tough opponent, short week, in the San Francisco against the 49ers. 49ers have one of the best rosters, if not the best roster in the entire NFL. But big question for the Niners is how is their quarterback situation going to be? Is it going to be Trey Lance? Is it going to be Sam Darnold? Is it going to be Brock Purdy? Both Purdy and Lance are still currently injured. It sounds like Purdy's going to be throwing next week, though, so I am fully expecting Purdy to be starting by the start of the season. And maybe the whole season if he stays healthy. We still don't really know who's going to be starting. They haven't really said, but it sounds like Brock Purdy is the favorite to land that starting job if given the chance. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Niners. This seems like a slightly easy choice to me. The Niners are just loaded. Their defense is crazy. Their offense has so many weapons. And all they need is a quarterback that can function the offense. And Brock Purdy was that last year up until he got injured in that NFC Championship game. So, yeah, I'm going to go Niners there on Thursday Night Football. Moving on, we got a tough game right here. Hosting the Seattle Seahawks. Another toughie. Seattle had a great offense last year. Should still be pretty good this year. Geno Smith, a lot of people didn't think he's going to be great last year. He turned out to be really good last year. Even made the Pro Bowl last year. And they still got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett at receiver. And they even drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba. That is a freaky receiving core. That is a freaky good receiving core. And running back, they should still have Kenneth Walker and Rashad Penny. I think he's still on the team. Pretty sure. But if he's not, they still have Kenneth Walker. So, and they still got Noah Fant too, which they got in that trade from Denver a couple years back now. So that is just a absolutely loaded offense right there in Seattle. And the defense surprised a couple people, especially late in the season. A lot of young guys stepping up and stuff. Their defense could get even better this year. I think they will personally. This is another really tough game for me to predict. Because the Giants, they don't have too many big-name players, but they're a good team still nonetheless. And that's how my Bills used to be, too, back in, 2019, because they didn't have too many superstars, but they were still winning games. So, this is Monday Night Football, too. Seahawks were pretty good earlier last season, too, but so were the Giants. That's a tough game. And I'm gonna give it to the home team here. I'm gonna go Giants here. It might be a little bit of an upset, but I feel like the Giants they can't go too many losses here to start off the season. And getting back to 200, beating the Seahawks in a huge game, and going into Miami in the heat against the Dolphins, who I think are gonna be a really good team. There's the whole conversation this whole offseason about who's winning the AFC East is just. Oh my God! there's some decent takes that make sense, and then there's also a ton of atrocious takes that make absolutely no sense whatsoever. But people are still falling, like, just agreeing with it. I don't know why, but nonetheless, I think Dolphins are gonna have a really good offense this year, especially if Tua stays healthy. It might start to look like Tua has a bit of a ceiling here. I do think he can get better. That offense is still looking pretty good, even though they lost Mike Gesicki, but they didn't really use him too much last year. Running game should be pretty much the same. They haven't really upgraded much at all in the running back position. But the receivers they got, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, they still have that crazy duo over there in Miami. So their offense should still be pretty good. And the defense, they struggled quite a bit last year despite the tons and tons of talent on that defense. And then they get a defensive-minded coach that can actually coach a defense in Vic Fangio. And they added Jalen Ramsey to pair him up with Xavier Howard. So you got to go Dolphins here, I think. The defense, I think, will have a great time shutting down the Giants' offense, especially the receivers struggling to get open. I think that's going to be the case for this game. And I don't see the Giants keeping up with that offense in Miami over there either. So I'm going to go Dolphins in that game. And then another game here. I'm pretty sure this game's Sunday Night Football because I memorized quite a chunk of the Bills' schedule already. But in Buffalo on Sunday Night Football, a team that started off as the Super Bowl favorites last year and proved it for quite a chunk, like the first 6-7 weeks or so of that season, until they kind of got disgruntled a little bit. Stuff happened with Damar Hamlin and just the blizzard and just other issues and stuff. It was just a crazy season, very weird season for the Bills. I think Von Miller should be back by now, by week 6. I think he will be back by then. As for the earlier weeks, I'm not too sure yet, but I think he will be back by week 6. I don't know if this is going to be his first game back, or if he may not be back yet, or what's going to happen, but I think he will be back for this game. And obviously they still got Tre'Davious White, who came back from that ACL injury last year, so we'll see if he can finally get back to his old vintage form of greatness over there. And we get to see if Kyle Elam can improve, and they still got the great safety duo, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. They did lose Tremaine Edmonds to the Bears, which hurts a bit, but they still got Matt Milano there, and they got a lot of young linebackers that are going to be fighting for that other role there. And then obviously Groot, see if he can improve also. I think he had like 7 sacks last year, which is pretty good. And then offensively for the Bills, there's a lot of ways this could go. I think the running back room definitely improved. Getting Damian Harris and James Cook still has room to improve. Josh Allen, I think he's still going to be great. Whether he's going to have those random interceptions, his random bad throws once in a while, we'll see, because the Bills have been pretty good to start seasons. But it is the Brian Daboll revenge game too, don't forget. So maybe Daboll knows some stuff that could work against Allen. But it is a new offense with Ken Dorsey, which started off working well, but kind of got off the rails a little bit in that second half of the season. Stephon Diggs, he'll still be there. He'll still be great. Gabe Davis had a little bit of a down year, but we'll see if he can improve. Dawson Knox is still there with Dalton Kincaid. It's another tough game. If Daboll wasn't the head coach of the Giants, I'd be like, okay, I think the Bills are going to win this game. But it's a lot tougher of a decision knowing that Daboll is their head coach, and he obviously is going to know some things, because that offense has... they haven't gotten too many new players since he left a couple years ago. So, honestly, this game might go either way. I'm going to go with the safe pick. I'm going to go with the Bills. I don't think that's bias. I think a lot of people are going to pick the Bills to win that game. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants could sneak one out there, because they got Brian Daboll over there. He might be able to drop a good plan there. But, again, we'll see. Week 7, hosting the Washington Commanders. Commanders are in an interesting situation. Their defense kind of took a step back last year. Haven't really done much to improve it in the offseason, really. And same with the offense. They really haven't gotten too many players to really upgrade that offense either. and they even lost Taylor Heineke, so this is Sam Howell's team right now. So we'll see how he plays. But yeah, I'm going to go Giants here. Washington is in a very interesting position. It looks like they're trying to rebuild without so much of the losses and getting close to like getting a first round pick. I think they're trying to stay competitive as much as possible while rebuilding. It kind of looks like. But I think they're still going to struggle a little bit this season. I think the Giants are going to get the win there. And a very interesting game right here. Oh, it tells you the times. Oh, look at that. How lovely. So this is a 1 o'clock game, which it should not be because this is a great game. Hosting the New Jersey Jets. Oh boy, that's a game. That is a game. Jets had one of the best defenses in the league last year. I don't think there's any reason why it should be any different this year. I think their defense is still going to be really good. And the offense, a lot of the talk was all they needed was a quarterback to function the offense to get the whole thing running. And they go out and get Aaron Rodgers and Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb. So I want to say they're going to be really good, but we saw what happened with the Broncos. We were like, oh, the Broncos are going to be this great team. And then they kind of laid an egg last season. But, I mean, it's technically a neutral field here because they both share the same stadium. This game might be too much for Jones and the Giants to handle here. I'm going to give them another loss here. I'm going to give the win here to the Jets. Yeah, just another tough game. They got a tough schedule here. Next game in Las Vegas to take the Raiders. Raiders haven't changed much on offense. They gave Darren Waller away to the Giants, which I just remembered just now. I told you I'd remember some things. But yeah, Darren Waller's a member of the Giants. And they got rid of Derek Carr, replaced him with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he'll definitely fit Josh McDaniels' system a lot better. I think that offense will definitely get better because I just think Garoppolo's a better fit than Derek Carr was there. But you never know. Could have been coaching. Coaching could have been the issue. Defense is still looking a little scary. I'm not going to lie. But I think this is a Darren Waller revenge game. Darren Waller, I think, will be up for this game. I think he's going to be utilized a lot in this game. Maybe. Who knows? I think the Giants are going to get the win here against the Raiders. Raiders, I think, could pull out a win here, but I'm going to go with the Giants here. I think they have fought enough here for a win in this game. We're going to move on. At Dallas against the Cowboys. Man, Giants fans, I want to pick you guys to beat the Cowboys at least once this year. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I think Dallas is just on another level than the Giants. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. I think Dallas will sweep the Giants this year. But the following week in Washington against the Commanders. Another tough game to predict. But I am going to go Giants. I think the Giants will sweep the Commanders. A tough game. Commanders could easily pull out a win and tie the series against the Giants. I think it's easily possible. But just with the stages where the two teams are, I just see the Giants beating or sweeping the Commanders here this season. It could change. You never know. But heading on to Week 12 here, hosting the New England Patriots. Patriots, we all know, are going to have a good defense. They always do have a good defense. As long as Belichick is there, they will have a good defense. And as for the offense, I don't know if we should be expecting much change. They did lose Jacoby Myers offensively, but they got Juju Smith-Schuster to replace him. So I don't know how much that's going to change that offense over there. But they haven't really upgraded much really at any position in New England. So I'm going to go Giants here. I don't know. It's a tough game, but Brian Daboll, again, I think he's a great head coach. I think he'll be able to get one out against the Patriots here. Patriots are a team that's in another interesting position. They're trying to stay competitive. They want to stay competitive for as long as possible before they know, like, okay, we're going to have to rebuild here. Which I guess the Patriots don't have to do just yet, but it doesn't seem like the successor to Brady, Mac Jones, is gonna be able to get stuff done this year. In my viewpoint, I don't think that's gonna be happening. But moving on, they got a bye week, week 13. So do the Bills. I really like the bye week, especially for making a playoff push here at 6-6. Definitely a tight schedule there. Week 14, Monday Night Football, hosting the Green Bay Packers. This will be an interesting game. A team that have Jordan Love era going on. Potential successor to Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. We'll see. Running game should still be great with the Packers. They still got Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Should still be a great running game. Big issue I see is the receivers. I mean, they got Christian Watson and I guess Romeo Doubs, but who else they got? They don't really have anybody. And the defense is okay. It's not really great, I don't think. So I think I think the Packers will lose. I think the Giants will get the win here. Off the bye, fresh legs. I think they'll get the win here against the Packers. As they move on to New Orleans to take on the Saints. This is a tough game. I think the Saints have a really solid defense. They do most seasons. I think they will have a solid defense here this year. Most pieces are the same there. Some little tweaks here and there. Offensively, got Derek Carr, new quarterback. We'll see if he was just in a bad system last year or if he really is regressing. I guess you'll find out this coming season. For now, they still have Alvin Kamara at running back and Jamal Williams. They got Jamal Williams too in free agency. I love that move by them, but don't really know what's happening with Alvin Kamara because he's got some legal issues going on. So as of right now, he's still set to play this year. So I'm predicting that he's still going to be playing this year. And then for receivers, Derek Carr, Michael Thomas, if he can stay healthy, and Chris Olave. So I think that could be a really good team in New Orleans, but it also has a chance to be pretty similar as it was last year. So Saints are kind of in an interesting spot there. But very tough game to predict again. Oh, man. That's a tough game. This game could go either way, I think, but it is in New Orleans, so I think I'm going to give this game to the Saints here. I think they'll take care of business. Barely, the Saints against the Giants. Really tough game. That game is really 50-50. That can go either way, I think. Next week, Week 16. First time they're facing the Eagles on Monday Night Football in Philadelphia. I don't know if I'm really going to explain this one too much. I'm going to go Eagles here. Eagles are a phenomenal team. Their defense is outstanding. They lost a couple guys in defense, but replenished quickly in the draft and free agency. Same with the offense, getting DeAndre Swift after losing Miles Sanders. So what I originally looked like after free agency, I'm like, oh, Eagles might be slipping a little bit here. And then after the draft, I guess not. I think they're gonna be staying right where they're staying. It's a great team. That might be a little bit of a drop off slightly, but I think it's still gonna be a great team over in Philadelphia. So I'm gonna give them the win there. Week 17, hosting the Rams. I think the Giants are gonna win this game. That's a winnable game for the Giants. Rams lost so many people. They lost so many people this past offseason. They still got Matthew Stafford, but for receivers, all they have is Cooper Kupp now. And they still have Tyler Higbee. And then they don't have a running game. They don't have any notable running backs over there. They don't really have much notable players over there. They don't have much notable offensive linemen. They don't really have many receivers over there anymore. And not like the Allen Robinson thing worked out in the first place. And the defense, there's no real big names over there anymore besides from Aaron Donald. So, and Aaron Donald does not make an entire defense. He is a great player. He's a Hall of Fame player, but he does not make an entire defense. So I'm going to go Giants are going to win that game here. And Week 18, the 8-8 Giants potentially fighting for their playoff lives, hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles could be resting their starters at this point. Giants could be fighting for their playoff lives. I'm going to guess by this point, Eagles might be resting their starters. Um, that's just a guess. They could be playing for a playoff game in this. It very well could be, but oof, both games, or all three games, the Eagles played the Giants and they blew them out of the water. Besides the one game where the Eagles rested their starters, so or no, the Giants rested their starters. But anyways, very tough game. That's a very tough game. Um, I might have to give it to the Eagles again. I think the Giants could easily win that game, especially if the Eagles are resting their starters. But I don't know for sure. This is the first team I'm doing, so I don't know for sure if they're going to be resting their starters by week 18. So, and the game still counts, so I'm going to guess that they'll still be playing their starters at this point. So I'm going to go Eagles there, which leaves the Giants with an 8-9 record. Very tough team. I think the Giants are a better team than the record will show, but they just a brutal schedule. I mean, I'm sure not all of these teams are going to turn out to be how we think they are. That's the same case for every season. So they could get a couple more wins here, or they could get a couple more losses. It varies quite a bit. But as of right now, as of May 24th, so very early, I see them going 9-8, or excuse me, 8-9 right here. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know what your current predictions are for the Giants. Any angry Giants fans at me that I have them with a losing record, please yell at me in the comments below. I'm happy to listen and read to them. So yeah, if you guys enjoy when I do that on my channel, subscribe. I'm going to be doing all other 31 teams. So I am back. I don't know how frequently I'll get these out, but they'll all be out before preseason starts. I can promise you that. So yeah, without further ado, I don't got much else to say except life forms.